button again. And here we go. So, it is winter. In winter, violins like to go out of tune, violas and cellos. It's a matter of scientific stuff. I don't know if it's physics or chemistry, but things expand when it's warm. Things contract when it is cold. Things get stickier when it's humid, not so sticky when it's dry. So basically it got dry and it got cold. And so our pegs got unsticky and they contracted. So in the summer, when spring comes and it starts getting humid again, we may have the opposite problem and I may have to unstick some of your pegs. So that said, just a quick review of the parts. And we have talked about this in class, that these are the fine tuners and you're allowed to turn those, but we haven't talked about turning these. And I would say about half the time somebody tried, they snapped the string. So it is time to talk about the pegs. But we'll start with the fine tuners. So actually, let me go through a couple other things. Okay, so you guys are both no, you've got a violist and a violinist, right? Tyler, yeah. So I am going to hold I do have a viola. Oh, I have a guitarist coming. I have to do a guitar demonstration too. Guitars are different. Anyway, they're easier. Okay. Anyway, so we've got our parts of our instruments. We've got our, okay, so hi, Caden. We're going to do guitar after we do violin and viola. I promise. So Caden's doing so excellent in this class. Hi. All right. So the first thing we're going to do, and we can actually try this with the guitar too, because the guitar has tuning machines and they work just like the fine tuner on a violin or viola. There's no pegs to slip or anything like that. There's just these tuning machines. This is my little baby guitar that I keep at home. Very tiny. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just review what all the strings are. Okay, so these are the strings on each instrument from lowest to highest. Violin, G, D, A, E. I can't play my cello. It's completely out of tune and my viola is under the bed, which I can get. Actually, I will get. Which one is it? I think it's this. No. Ay. Here's my viola. Equal opportunity. And the viola and the cello have the same strings, except that the cello strings are lower in octave. So they're still C, D, A, and E. There's my viola. It's winter. So the G is off. So okay, so there's your viola strings. And since we have a guitarist here, we have 6 strings on the guitar. They match. If you look at the first, at the bass strings, the first 4 strings of the guitar match. The string names are on the bass. So, and then there's 2 extra. So you've got E, A, D, G. And if you look at the violin, you'll see that they're in the opposite direction. And then you have B and E. So the reason why I can tune without using a tuner is because I've been playing my whole life and I can actually hear when the notes are right and wrong. So I'm very lucky that way. Most people, some people do have that. So, and I do have lots of kids in class that tell me this sounds weird. So they are hearing it. You can use one of those tuners that clip onto your instrument, but when you're a beginning tuner, the best way to do it, and we'll do the do's and don'ts in a little bit, is to listen to the note and use your ear, because especially kids can hear when the note sounds the same and when it sounds different. So this is a link to an online tuner website, and I've already put I think I put this whole presentation in the classroom for every class so they can look through this slideshow. But it gives you a little information about how the instrument is tuned. And then it has 4 tracks, 1 for each string. So here's G and D and A and E. And basically, and we can do the same thing for viola and guitar. Why do they have aliens for guitar, for viola? Oh, wait, there we go. I'm sorry. There's a lot of viola jokes out there. So Tyler, please be ready. People make fun of violists. I don't know why. My son's a cellist. He even makes fun of violists. So we're going to have to make fun of cellists next time we see him. I have to tell him next time. I have some violist students who would like to make some cello jokes. Anyway, so here's your 4 strings. All right, and so on. And then guitar. You don't need to do cello and bass because we don't have any cellists or bassists here. But if you click on any of those, you'll get the notes that match your instrument. So here's guitar, and there are 6 because there are 6 strings. So, okay. So next step is to discover, and I'm going to use my violin because since I teach private lessons with this instrument, I have 4 tuners on it, just like a school instrument. All my other instruments, well, my cello has tuners too. But my viola only has 1. So that wouldn't be very good to demonstrate with. Anyway, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to experiment with our fine tuners. First tip, if in doubt, lower the string first. Don't just tighten it up. The reason is because then you won't snap it. So we'll deal with this in a minute. And if anyone is feeling brave enough to try, you can try with me. But first we're going to do the fine tuners. So each fine tuner lines up with a string. Pretty self-explanatory, I hope. With your guitar, you follow your string up to these. These are called tuning machines. And I'm going to post a copy of this video up for you guys. So I will demonstrate that before I do the pegs on the violin and viola. So if you don't want to stay the whole time, it is okay. So basically, you're just going to take 1 string, you're going to pluck it. I'm going to do the A, and I'm going to turn my fine tuner to the left, and I'm going to make it go flat. So I'm going to turn it like 3-4 times. It doesn't sound right, right? Eek. So how do I fix it? I'm going to listen to my A, and I'm going to pluck and turn and pluck and turn. And you're always checking. Whoop, too much. Okay, now it sounds the same. It is in tune. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the guitar. So here's my tuning machine on my guitar up here. And I'm going to take, let's see, where's the guitar tuner? Here it is. So Kaden, pick a string. Which string should I do? A? Okay. So this is what my A sounds like right now. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to follow my finger up, find the tuning machine. Okay. That's up here. All right. And I'm going to loosen up. Oh, that sounds terrible. That's not A. All right. A sounds like this. That is not the same. So on your guitar, depending on which way the tuning machines point, you're gonna have to experiment to see what makes it tighter and what's looser. But usually you just kind of turn it towards the back of the guitar, no matter which side you're on. So I'm going to start my A and I'm going to start adjusting it. And again, you keep plucking it, because if you hear that it gets a lot higher than the note that you're playing on your tuner, that's kind of like the danger zone. You don't want it to be super, super high compared to, you know, like what it is. Like I actually have accidentally snapped strings because I'm tuning a viola and I forgot that it was a viola and not a violin. So I'm trying to make that high E come out of the A string, and then I snap the A string. So thank goodness, usually when I see somebody's face, I know what instrument it is, but I also have them labeled, so I know. So I'm not sure. I look at the side. VA is viola, VN is violin. Ta-da! Okay, so here we go. See, I'm plucking it while I'm doing it. And when it sounds the same, you're done. That's it. For guitar, that's it. We don't have to do anything with any annoying pegs that come loose or anything like that. Lucky for us. So if at any time you're tuning an instrument and no matter what you do, it doesn't seem like it's in tune, it is possible that it might need new strings. So, you know, if you tried your best and, you know, but anyway, I thought this was a good time to do this because we're going to be on break soon. And anyone who really feels like practicing during break doesn't want their instrument to be out of tune for like a week and a half before school starts again. So before I go on, Kaden and Mom, do you have any questions? Because that's pretty much it with the guitar. It's a lot easier.
No, because I don't understand. Still, don't worry about it. I think I have to go figure out how to. That means I open the tunestring.com for guitar.
Yeah.
And then I press on whatever, like E or A. And
Yeah.
then put the guitar near the computer and then plug that note.
Yeah, you just listen and see if it sounds the same.
Oh.
And this, oh, on all the instruments, the thinnest string is the highest one. So if you listen to the notes, like this, for instance, there's two E's here. So here's the high E. And then here's the low E. If you look at the guitar closely, you'll see that as you go across, and also on the violins, viola, the strings get thicker as you go. So the skinny one on this side is the high E, and that's the low E. And you can use that as your map, you know, to go across the guitar. So E, A, D, G, B, and E. And you can see the numbers next to the letters, that the lower the number is, the lower the note is. It tells you, it's basically how they map out the piano. So you've got octave 1, octave 2, octave 3. So the fatter strings are lower notes, deeper notes, and the skinny strings are the high squeaky notes. Okay, and if you look at if you look at the violin and viola, your C, your G, they're fat. Your E, your A are skinny. Okay. So before we move on to pegs, does anybody want to try tuning their A string? You want to untune it and tune it up? So everybody untune your A string. Oops. I did the wrong one. All right. Are you all untuned? All right. Let me start with violin and viola. The A is the same, so it really doesn't matter which one I use. Okay, so now, again, make sure you keep plucking and hear what's going on. If you just turn without checking it, you could go too far. So here we go. I hope you don't have a headache. Does anyone need it again? Or are we good? Is Oliver okay? All right, now we're going to try the guitar. So Caden, do you want to try tuning your A string? So first we have to untune it. So the A string is the 5th string. So from the bottom, remember you're counting. So the 5th one is A. It's the middle tuning machine on the top part of your guitar. So it's that one. So tune it. Make your string sound like that. Or whatever. There we go. Perfect. Gorgeous. All right, I'm going to play the A for guitar. You ready? All right, so as you're turning it, you're going to pluck the string so that you can hear it. Okay, here we go. That 15 seconds seems really long. So how'd it go? Did you get it?
No.
Aww. Should I run it again? Do you want to try again?
This is it.
Yes or no? He's still trying. I'll play the A for you one last time, and then we're going to move on. All right, I can't stand it anymore. Okay, so that's just something for you to experiment with. Again, all of these links are going to be, they're in your classroom. I posted them this afternoon, so you can try it. Now, violinists and violists, this is going to be up to you whether you want to try this or you just want to wait for something to go wrong. But I'm going to take my D string and I'm going to detune it. So we're going to talk about the pegs, and this doesn't really apply to guitar. Luckily, guitars don't have these pegs. I really wish they would make tuning machines for school violins. It would make life so much easier, but they don't. And the pegs for school violins tend to slip more than even regular ones. But I can tell you that I was playing at a wedding a few weeks ago. I had my violin all tuned up. I put it down on the chair just slightly a little too hard, and the peg went boing. And I was like, thank goodness we're not starting yet. Okay, so the pegs, some do's and don'ts about tuning. Listen closely. You're gonna pluck your strings while you're tuning. You're going to push your tuners into the peg box. Why is that? If you look closely at your pegs, at like what's on this side and then what's over here, you'll notice that this end is a little bit smaller than that one. And if like your peg fell out completely, you would notice that the hole on one side is smaller than the other. Violin, viola, and cello pegs are wedges. A simple machine. And when they fit into the holes correctly, which is often not the case with cheap school violins, and I've been trying to remedy that. So, and you know, you guys might have remembered when I said, leave your violin on my desk and I'll fix it. That's what I was doing. I was trying to make your pegs fit a little better, and I was roughing them up with sandpaper so they were like, would stick a little better. Anyway, so the way you keep a wedge in place is by pushing it in while you're turning it. So I'm going to detune my D for a second. This kind of sounds like Monday morning, right? Oh, that sounds even worse than Monday morning. Hold on. So, all right, that sounds like a D on Monday morning. And I'm going to turn it without pushing it in. So I'm turning, and I'm only, see how little I'm turning it? I'm going to do it this way so you can see it. So that's all I have to turn it to get it up to D. It's like less than a quarter turn. I'm not pushing it in. So you know what's going to happen? It went right back to where it started. because I was not pushing it into the holes. Now, in the spring and summer, when you push it into the holes, if you push it too hard, I might have to get a plier and unstick it, but that's another issue. Okay, so what you're gonna do is it says, you know, push the tuners into the peg box and pluck the strings and listen. So you have your thumb here plucking, you've got your other hand pushing in. All right. You're using them with caution. I am trying to find the time. I've got 2 or 3 of them prepared by now. I'm taking some of the really old, horrible violins, taking the strings off. So you can do like peg turning practice. So that will be probably by the end of next week. I'll have that ready so the kids can practice turning the pegs without breaking any strings because there are no strings on them. So again, you're going to listen. You don't have to get it exact when you use a peg. So I'm doing the D string. Wait a minute. That's the wrong tuner. All right. This is violin. All right. So I'm pushing in. I'm holding the other side to keep the neck from like breaking off and to give myself force. And I'm plucking with my thumb. And I ran out of time. Okay. So you can hear it's not exactly there. So then I finish the job with my fine tuner. And there, it is tuned. So each, again, you've got your strings on one side and the other side. So whatever side your string is on, that's the same side that your peg is on. The two middle strings are the higher pegs. The 2 outside strings are the lower pegs. If you want even more information, I think I had the kids watch this and take notes on it, but these are 4 videos made by an orchestra teacher with many more years of experience than me, who actually took you through like, I think it's like a 15-minute presentation about how to tune all your strings and all that jazz. Does anyone want to try their pegs now? I don't blame you. So the next time it goes flat, next time it goes loose, you can try it. Just make sure that if it sounds higher, here, I'll put this in the danger zone. I'm going to take a chance here. So this is my D string. If it sounds a lot higher, loosen it right away. Okay, because you could potentially snap a string. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
About how far sharp is the danger zone on the tuning the strings?
It's probably like if it starts sounding like the next string up, that's when it usually tends to go.
Okay, so it's a whole string. It's not just a half step.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would say if it sounds like 2 notes above, you should set that as your limit. So like I had it up to, this is E. This is like a whole step up.
Yeah.
That's already making me nervous.
Okay.
Also, if all of your strings have gone loose, it's a good idea to put some tension on them, even if they're not in tune, because it keeps the sound post and the bridge from falling down. And the bridge can fall down and it's not a big deal. You just stand it up again, or you bring it to me and I will stand it up for you. I am horrible at putting up sound posts though. Chances are if the sound post falls down, I will give your child a temporary instrument, and so that I can take it home and say as many bad words as I want while I try to put the sound post up. I can do it. I'm not very good at it. It takes me a while. So I usually do it at home so I can like take a break and not feel like I'm rushed. So does anybody else have, oh, hi, Yahira. I'm going to review with you if you stay on. Okay.
Okay.
And I don't know who's on the phone, but welcome. Thanks for coming.
It was my fault. We went to the laundry. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Okay. So, does anyone else have any other questions?
I just have another question.
Absolutely.
Are there any other sort of danger zone signs that we need to watch for while our kids are tuning besides going too sharp?
Not really. If the bridge looks like it's leaning over a lot, like actually mine's leaning over a little bit too much at the moment. That's a sign that it may fall down. So I actually can stand it up very carefully, see, and it's like a little more straight. But or if your bridge is bending over, it's just time for a new bridge. And the other thing to look out for is if the strings look like they're getting frayed, like there's like wrapping coming off of it, that's time to ask for a new string.
Okay.
And I do have a lot of them right now. Yep. And of course, if something gets stuck, let me do it. Any other questions? Okay, so those of you who came for the beginning, I'm going to be repeating the beginning part again. So if you want to see it again, it's fine. And if not, have a great weekend. And thank you so much for coming to this workshop.
Thank you.
Okay. You are very welcome. Okay, so I think the part that Yahira missed was the fine tuners. Do you have your instrument with you?
Thank you, Miss Wright.
You are welcome. Take
Bye.
care, Kaden.
Thank you, Miss Wright.
You are welcome. Have a great
Have a
weekend.
good weekend.
You too. You too.
Oliver's violin, I think it's with you. He said that something wrong with
Yeah, I
the key.
fixed it, and I fixed it like at the very end of the day, and it's waiting for him for Monday.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. He didn't come at the end of period 7, and I hadn't had it done yet. And I thought, well, maybe he was going to come after period 8, but he didn't. So no biggie. He'll be there Monday.
Thank you. See you Monday.
You too.